I will just give you a general overview of what performance management is all about, and why is it critical, why is it important, why, is it an integral part of any forward-looking organization, any organization that wants to keep, improving and keep, achieving their set goals. All right, we need to understand why is that important. So this morning, we have people online, and I want to acknowledge all of you. If you are online and present in the reasons work, please just drop in the chat room for us. Good morning, wherever you're joining us from. You're joining us from home, mention your home. Good morning. So let's see everybody drop comments in the chat room. Just say good morning, Vicarage, good morning, where else again, Osborne, wherever you are joining us from this morning, please drop the comments in the chat room. That will give us an indication that yes, you are with us virtually as it is. So when we started this session, we looked at this, we set out to achieve all this, or to cover this outline. The very first one is to define what performance management is and what it is not. The philosophy of performance management, we're just going to be taking a closer look at that today. Performance management, the concept sheet, the need for people to see it for what it is. And I won't dwell too much on this. Let me just move away from that. We looked at some quotes at the beginning of this session. And what we did was the very first one, which I would like for, because of the people that are not, said the only real difference between one organization and another is the performance of its people. And that's what makes an organization, tick, if I can put it that way. If you don't know how to manage how your people work and contribute to the goals and objectives of the organization, it's going to affect your success, or let me put it, collective success, because when the organization wins, you win, all right? And if your colleague is excelling and you are not, we are all generally not excelling as well. Why is that so? That is a general saying that the strength of a chain, all right, is as its weakest link. The chain is as strong as its weakest link. So whatever is the weakest in that sense amongst us, that is the definition of our collective strength. And that is why it's always very important. You can't ignore when somebody else is not performing, when somebody else is not underperforming, and when people are not optimizing their potential as it is. We did this, just what do you think about it, but I will move away from that. Also, in specific, we said performance management, start with performance thinking. Said it's human performance. Is defined by a man called Dr. Carl Binder as behavior or actions producing work outputs that contribute to business results. So anytime you hear performance, we are referring to your behavior. We are referring to your day-to-day activity. All right, your day-to-day interaction, your day-to-day engagement, the way you do what you do in the organization. It's a reflection of your performance. And performance is always tied to results. You can never get a result that will be greater than your performance. You can never get a result that will be greater than your behavior, as it were. So the sum total of who you are right now and the kind of results you are getting in your life right now can be traced back to your behavior. Right? So having said that, we'll move away from that also. You will have to pardon me this morning. I'm just paraphrasing until we get to the meat of the conversation for today, or the heart of the conversation for today. So, and we all concluded that everyone in this organization is regarded as a key player. There is no role that is superior to another. Yes, I said it. No role is superior to another. We are all equally, required and needed. In fact, we need one another for us to be able to achieve the common goal that we have as an organization. Whatever is your role, whatever is your own responsibility, you are important. And I want you to help me turn to your neighbor saying, you are important. In fact, you are a key player in this organization. I say it this way, that anytime you remember the first quote that says that the difference between two organizations is actually the performance of its people. And if anybody asks me that, what is the competitive advantage of the Fountain of Life Church today? What will you say? People. So what are you? You're a key player. So this is it. Anytime you think of it, you should be able to see yourself as the competitive advantage for Fountain of Life Church. Why? Winners, they have building, we have building. Trend, they have building, we have building. They have infrastructure, we have infrastructure. The only thing they don't have is you. Yes. So if we are, if they ask us anytime, and you see organization will say that the most critical asset in any organization is what? Is what? But you are wrong. The critical asset of any organization is not people. Yes, it's the right people. Who? Yes, it's the right people. So the question will be, that means that you have to ask yourself, am I the right person in this organization? And that's what makes you to be key. Because the greatest liability in any organization is also what? Not people. It's the wrong people. I need to begin to ask that, which side do I belong? Which, of these two categories of people do I represent in the organization? So moving on, it's everybody's responsibility. Performance management. The employee says what? Says what? Then the leader says, it's on the screen. I champion the process. Then the human resources department says, and the direct supervisor says. So it's everybody's responsibility to drive performance in the organization. And we move on to also ask this question: have you ever received feedback? Because performance management is about it's a continuous loop of feedback. Feedback continuously. You've done something yesterday, you come back today, they're telling you how well you did it, or how not so well you did it. And you use that feedback to improve, and you keep going on and on. All right. We asked the other time, and some people made some fantastic contribution of how feedback from their supervisor at some point had actually impacted their life and changed their the way they work and the way they do things generally. Okay. I'm going to move away from this. Generally, what we're saying that performance management overall, performance appraiser is a subset of performance management. All right. Appraiser is the actual evaluation of people's contribution within your performance management system, right? And we're saying that one, it will help to assess employees' performance, identify training needs, recognize high performance, and of course, address performance issues. And also, it's used as basis for promotion, deployment to higher responsibility, and all of that in the organization. So there are different types of performance management methods, but I'm going to dwell on that this morning. And some guiding principles of effective performance management. I will not also dwell on that. There's also 4 stages of performance management. We start with planning, monitoring, developing, and rating/reward. But essentially, what we are going to be using is what we call the PERI framework of performance management system. The PERI framework, as you can see, the P stands for what? And E stands for what? R for what? And I. So that is the complete cycle of performance management system. All right. The feedback aspect is what enables everybody to be able to improve. And that's why I always advise that you don't present your performance management in a way that people will view it as a system for punitive measures, not a system to winch on people. It's not a system whereby you unduly empower supervisors to become gods. Because truly, it gets so bad in some organizations that say, okay, no, don't worry, if your appraiser is coming, you will meet me there. It shouldn't be something that you use to threaten people, but it's something that you must use in a way to make people feel loved, valued, and of course, appreciated as they contribute their quota to the organizational goal. Are we together? Are we together? So, but beyond that, I described this also the last time, that performance management, an effective and credible performance management system, is made up of 3 overlapping components. All right. And the very first one speaks to the subjectivity component of the appraiser. There is the objectivity aspect of appraiser, and there is also the equity aspect of appraiser. But here it's presented differently. The subjective aspect of appraiser is referred to the qualitative standards. Everybody say qualitative. Why is it subjective? Because the organization relies on the opinion and the view of the direct supervisor of that person. Whatever I say about your performance is what the organization will rely on and they will believe in. Why? Because HR is not in your department. Okay, everybody doesn't work in the same department as you. So whatever your supervisor says about your conduct on the job or your work ethics is what the organization would agree or will accept. And you see this happening whereby, for instance, when you say measure somebody on a scale of 1 to 5, this person's teamwork attributes on a scale of 1 to 5. If I'm working with Sylvester, for instance, if you decide to rate me 4/5, okay, it is his opinion. The same level of interaction or engagement or competence that I've demonstrated in working with him, I can do the same exact level of competence, interaction, and engagement with Sister Elsie. As I say, we say that you are 3. She's not wrong. It's not wrong. All right? It is from their own perspective. They are qualitative measures because we can't really measure them per se. You can measure them, but whoever is given the evaluation of the measurement, the person is the king in that case. All right? And we need it. And I will explain to you why we need that aspect also. Because we also don't want to run a system where people are insubordinated, where people don't respect constituted authority, where people don't realize that somebody has been given the responsibility to manage the team. All right? And to that extent, but because we don't also want people's career and people's future to be solely dependent on what the supervisor says, then we introduce the quantitative measure, which is the objective measure. Are you with me, please? So I mentioned there is objective aspect, there is subjective aspect. Subjective is the qualitative standard. Objectives are what? The quantitative standard, and we refer to it as management by objective, MBO goals. All right. Then the third is the value ranking, competitive standards, but some people refer to it as, the equity component of appraisal. So what did I say? Equity. So the way that happens is this. We've rated Casey, all right, 4.5 over 5 overall rating in this appraisal. And we've rated Daniel also 4.5 overall rating in this appraisal. And the organization needs to promote just one person. And they've all landed at the same overall rating. So what other criteria can we throw in to shortlist them, or probably to determine who we should give that promotion to? So with ad hoc responsibilities, projects that you have been assigned to do, so you have taken, and it is just so the supervisors will not begin to justify why it should be Daniel, why it should be Casey. By the time management look at the submissions of the supervisors, they will value rank them. Yes, they're on the same level in terms of score, but in terms of additional potential value that they are contributing to the organization, we would move that person up. And usually they use it when there's a serious issue with promotion, because most of the time organizations don't have unlimited resources. So they qualify for promotion in a particular year, and our budget based on performance of the organization can accommodate only 10. So what do you do? All right. That's why you ask easily people that are working on the organization, you can realize that though you've been qualified for promotion, and you realize that year 1, year 2, year frozen online. Is it back now? Okay, I can't see my slide. Okay, I can see the slide now. So there is the aspect of that quantitative, which we call MBO goals, are largely driven by key performance indicators, because that is the only way in which you can make the measuring matrix or criteria to be objective. You will have set it ahead of time. You will have agreed on those things ahead of time. And you, as an individual, will have been working with it. And on daily basis, you yourself, you will know exactly how you are faring regarding those things. You will know how well you are meeting those KPIs, and you will know how well you are struggling with them, as the case may be. As a matter of fact, somebody that is not a member of your department and appraise you on those KPIs, provided you show the person the evidence of what you have done, vis-a-vis the target that was set for you, and you don't even need your supervisor. And usually in some standard organizations, this is the aspect that people always focus on. They focus more of their energy on it, particularly if you hate your supervisor. You have to really beat that person by ensuring that you get all your scores on your KPIs. Because the weights that is assigned to KPIs, all right, they are almost times 3 or times maybe 2.5 of the weight given to the subjective aspect. Are we together? So let me put it this way. KPIs can constitute 70% of your entire appraisal, and the subjective aspect, which most times behavioral attributes, general attributes, and all of that would constitute just 30%. And that 30% is hinged on the values and the mission. Are those that's why it's always good to have a good body in the office. How many of us know what KPIs are? How many of us were hearing that for the first time? We're hearing of KPI for the first time. So key performance indicators. In other words, when you are driving your car, right, on the dashboard, you have some indicators on the dashboard that tells you how well you are driving that car. Are you with me? So when you are low on fuel, you will see it on the dashboard. When you are overspeeding, you will see it on the dashboard. When your tire pressure is low, you will see it on the dashboard. That is what key performance indicator does for an employee in an organization. You will be able to know whether you are working according to the expectations of the management, of your supervisor, all right, or not. And you will know at what rate we are making progress. Is that clear to us? All right, please let me appreciate PD for drawing attention to that. Let me appreciate PD. Come on. What is that? Okay, so moving on. So I just used that to explain KPIs, but KPIs flows from the company vision, and from company visions to the strategic objective. Vision means that what we stand for, what we want to be known for, and what we want to attain as an organization. That is just a statement. The strategic objectives will not be what are the specific, activities that we must pursue in order to achieve that our vision. And from that strategic objective, it's at the very top level in the organization. You now bring down those strategic objectives to what? Organizational KPIs. When you say organizational, for finance, for audits, for branding, branding and cultural shaping, for HR, for IT, you break them into all those things. Then we'll move it down to the teams within those visions within the organization. For instance, in Sylvester's world, you have people that are editors, you have photographers, you have writers, and all of that. You now break it down to that. And it comes to the specific individuals. Why? Because we can have 5 writers, all right? And the 5 writers, we don't have to necessarily give them the same target because they are all not necessarily on the same level. Okay, so you set target people based on their levels of the organization and based on their PT, another big word, based on their proficiency level. And the challenge is that to break down some of these things, to take my time. So as I'm speaking, please, anything that doesn't sync with you, just say uncheck. Are you with me? When you say uncheck, I will know that I need to explain that. Proficiency. Is it check or check? Check. Which is on check? Please raise up your hand. Okay. So this is the 2 of you. Let's assume that you are both in the department. Comes to being writing security into you, yeah, you have been in this years, right? So the quality of your reporting, we would expect it to be higher than the quality of his own reporting. That is the proficiency level. But he starts with this. There are 5 levels of proficiency. The very first level is novice. Everyone say novice. Novice means that I don't know anything about incident reporting. All right? I don't know. So level 2 is working knowledge. Everyone say working knowledge. That working knowledge says that I can do it with help. Are you with me? So, if you show me, I can do it. The first one, even if you show me I can't, I don't even have the cognitive ability to do it. All right. Then the third level says working, the second is working. The third is practitioner. Say practitioner. So practitioner says I can do it without help. Yeah, I can write that report without you supervising me or guiding me because I have been doing it. I'm a practitioner. I've been practicing this over a period of time. Are you with me? All right. Then level 4 says I'm a coach. Why? Because I can do it without help and I can show another person or train another person or coach another person on how to do it. For the fact that you can do it doesn't mean that you can coach somebody else. So you must have over the years been able to train people and help other people to develop that same competence, develop their proficiency in security incident reporting. Correct? So the 5th level is the expert level. We say expert. So the expert says, I can do it without help. All right. I can help others because I'm also a coach. But guess what? I can redefine or disrupt the way it is being done. I can introduce new models. I can introduce new concepts. I can come up with a totally new way of doing that same thing because of my level of experience in this space. So when you are not talking about proficiency level, it simply means that we will place people on their level of proficiency. But most of the time, we don't need anybody to be on level 1, which is completely clueless. You are not expected to do in that job. Are we together? If people online are with us, please can you tell them, let them drop check for us and let me know if they've dropped check for us. Drop check. If you are following us, please online. So moving on, ladies and gentlemen, so we'll look at the performance management philosophy, which is largely merit-driven. This conversation is about me. So please know that performance management system is dependent or supposed to drive the following in any organization. It must be merit-driven. Everyone say merit-driven, and the emphasis must be on results. 2, it is based on deliberate planning and budgeting. In other words, you have to set time aside to plan it, to set the goals, and to agree on what is the acceptable standard of performance or result we want. 3 is enhance performance-oriented culture across the board. It must be something that will help everybody to start thinking about their performance, all right? And they will start taking personal responsibility, all right, of the tasks and work that has been assigned to them in the organization. And largely it must also be developmental, which will emphasize on helping people to build a career in certain parts and to learn and also develop themselves on the job and on the personal note. So moving on, let me move to what performance management is not. It's not about control, it's about commitment. It's not about past performance, it's about what? future performance. It's not about just about carrot and stick. Do we know what carrot and sticks means? Carrot, is edible. Stick. It is something that they use to kill people. Essentially, we're saying, the benefits when you do something right will reward you. When you do. So this is function and reward, right? It's not just about that. It's about self-learning and development. It's not about manager and just about manager coaching and mentoring and providing guidance as well. It's not about, it's not driven by manager. It is shared responsibility. You saw that for, 4 responsibilities that we mentioned earlier on: the manager, yourself, your supervisor, and of course the HR, right? It's everybody's shared responsibility. It's not passive and reactive. It's about what? Proactive engagement. And it's not only activity focused, it is outcome and accountability focused. And this is where people sometimes, it's not so much about you being busy. You're busy doing what? Right? It's about the results that you are able to show to everyone that you have accomplished. Performance manage is about supporting employees to manage their own performance. And it's not just top down. All right? It's going to be a 360-degree approach. All right? Let me quickly move here and let you know this aspect is very important, because this talks about the timing. How are we going to be, the performance appraisal process. The very first one is that we're going to start with planning, performance planning. That's what we're going to do. And that's why we're going to devote the whole of to ensure that everyone and you agree. Okay. Then we'll go to MBO goal setting. MBO again, remember I mentioned it as management type objective. And then there will be MBO goals review. The MBO goals review will be after you have set for your subordinates, you sit down to agree. Once you agree on it, it becomes what you're going to run with. Then we move on to assessment. Assessment will always be between 30th of December and 31st of June every year. You understand? So that is why we can't conduct 31st of June this time, because we are just stepping into this culture of performance management. To all the goals, and by end of the year, we will be able to evaluate the first appraisal. Will like minimum of 2 weeks into January to complete all your performance appraisal, then discuss policy and all of that. And we'll also use that period. Once we are completing one, we are setting target 7. Are we together? All right, the last is the appraisal itself will be conducted. Now, I mentioned earlier that the KPI aspect constitutes 70%, and the behavioral aspect will constitute the 30% of the appraisal. So how are we going to rate the performance of everybody? We're going to use a 5-skill rating, whereby the very first one, we say 1 is below average, which means you ask the question, does the job meet the requirements, or the contribution meets the requirement of the job? Average means that you meet some, not all. All right. Good means that you adequately meet all requirement expectations for your job position. And 4 says very good performance. Why? Because the performance is more than satisfactory and it exceeds expectation. However, the 5 rating we give is because it's exceptional rating, and it says that employee has consistently and completely exceeded all expectations for his or her position. So likely this is how we're going to rating performance. So there is usually the controversy on this rating. Somebody that has met all expectations set for the person job then 5. But that's the examples everybody will see this guy is a performer or the high flyer or that one. Okay. It is when you have met standards set for you by your supervisor. For instance, let me go back to the security guide to explain that. We expect you to submit security incident reports on the 5th of every of the next month. So at the end of the year, we want to have a minimum of 12 incident reports. Incident report means if there was an incident, we report it. If there was none, we let us know there was none. But at least every 5th of the month, give us incident report. And this guy consistently beats that and gives to us first of every month. That is exceptional. You get that? And first of every month is always, and by the time we count it, we have 12 reports submitted consistently, same time over the period of 12 months. And that person is exceptional rating. However, if he submits on the 5th of every month, he's going to be getting 3. But if you are done as the target, and met the target, will give you your 3 consistently. If you want the organization to acknowledge, recognize you or reward you for something more, you have to do something better than what has been set for you. Are you with me? Yes. Yeah. So that's just to explain that. Anything? Any issue? You can see.
Same, sir.
Right? Sure. Okay. So I came up with some typical KPIs, but I would want to stop here. The reason is I don't want to gloss over it. I set some sample finals for traffic specific, and I said for all the guys in IT, just sample, but we're not going to look at them today. But I'm going to ask next week we will look into it, but right now I want to engage in terms of clarifications, concerns, fears, doubts, whatever it is, let's clarify them right now. So from next people, we have to for IT function, these are the ones, but we won't go into the details. What are the look at responsibility and we'll move on to use this station and common performance in performance that's also leads to completion, but that will be for the next week because I don't want to overwhelm you with the the rest part, and that actually is the major part of the rest of the conversation. So that, ladies and gentlemen, I think welcome to the performance management era in the Fountain of Life Church, and I want to hear your own feedback, comments, reactions, and questions. Yes, thank you very much, everybody. Yes. So typically the way I do it, I would like comments from here, and there. I think we have more people that maybe you can take to. Yes, any comments from your hand here? When I say comments, it can be a question or clarification, can be how you see the idea that has been introduced to us this morning. So ideally, everyone so I can come to you, no reason of your hand. Thank you, Evisi. Please put your hands together for Evisi.
I want to talk, ask about like the hospital. They're asking about goals. The hospital. You can't really set quantitative goals, so to speak, in the hospital. You can set goals according to, you can do appraisals according to how the job is done. So I'm wondering what kind of goals would you now set?
Thank you very much. Point of correction, we can ask questions, but don't say something cannot. Those cannot. I may not know, but there is always a way out. Okay. So to answer the question, every job has those two components. But in some jobs, it is easier for you to extract the quantitative. Easier than, for instance, people in finance or people in sales in organizations, it's very easy for their jobs. So I'm giving that. We have some aspects to come back. Take for it. To the very first thing that's for the project at the end of the when project will benchmark your current cost level, right, vis-a-vis the previous cost level. Forget that we're just starting this, but typically we're going to set for you going forward what should be your cost saving measure or cost containment measure. Why? Because as head of that place, you have the responsibility to manage your cost and keep it low. So we will sit down and agree that, okay, your cost level based on your trend, the historical performance of your overhead in that place. This is what it can be, but we don't want it to be higher than this level. It can be absolutely equal sometimes, and sometimes be a percentage over what has been. That you should not exceed 10% of your this period last year or this same period, 6 months ago. Are you with me? So in that case, by the time you are running, you are inching to the threshold of the time that has been set for you, will know. That you now realize the organization will start. We're not more training. No. I think, guys, please, everybody leave the office. We want to shut down this system because this will. I'm just telling you. All right. That you now see managers becoming more conscious. When I first came, you guys said, we are rationing paper. You can't, we don't, they are trying to save cost on paper. So that is what begin to make people to be responsible and accountable. There's whatever gets measured, gets done. Are you with me? The moment by the way, have you given HR your job descriptions of everybody in there? Okay, so let me tell you, this is the job of HR. The moment we see the activity that you give to your people, we'll be able to extract from it what are the, quantitative and qualitative indices. What I say, quantitative, things that we can track, things that we can measure, things that we can inspect or monitor, so that by the time we get to the appraisal time, we will say that this is how this person has performed along all these criteria that we set. Let me tell you another one that can be, in your world, I want to believe that you probably don't currently get client was okay, that should not be anything less than 4/5. So by the time we come back, we get feedback, we do deploy your survey, and we get the feedback from your clients or your patient, and they are giving you 2, 1, just like when you go on and you see people giving people 2 stars, 3 stars. That is, quantitative. So the comment they put to support that will be qualitative. I give you 4, and I say the reason why I give you 4 is because anytime I come here, you're always making me feel welcome, which means that's the vibe they get from you, how you make them feel, and they come or measure. Everything is measurable. Because everything is measurable. But don't forget, I agree with you, some are easily measured, all right, than others. Okay, so I'll move on to who's going to ask questions. You have questions? Yeah. Yeah. Question, comments? Yes. Please put your hands together for Aaron.
You probably Sister Daisy mentioned. It's primarily about skill, and it's almost like you could from the get-go, you can tell the skilled, very skilled one separate from maybe not very skilled one, and that can also immediately tell you level of performance that you get automatically, because in the case of skill, it probably takes a while before you can improve. So even if you give you targets, it can still tell right from the beginning how you would perform because of your skill level. Yeah, okay. So I guess those are things that we'll begin to need to define some of these things. So I'm wondering, I guess it's a link to that same question where what will be quantitative here now? Is it the usage of equipment? It's if you understand what's going to be quantitative in this case, and then how do you rate someone who maybe is skilled, quite skilled, and but sometimes when I was looking at the rating, where you want to rate the person, you want to rate the person for how the person move beyond the exceptional when the person is quite skilled, but is or can be based on understand. Because work with had a lot of inputs. If I can walk towards PD, the one that is still available, understand that part of the criteria or the parameters set for your instrumentalist will be their availability. And availability means you are available 5 times a week, 3 times a week, consistently over a period of time. Whatever it is that you score within that period becomes your rating. It is not the quality of what you are doing, but as an organization, we set for you attendance or being available, all right, as part of what is critical for all. I mean, one of our critical success factors. So we will get there, but that's
okay. Harold, thank you. First of all, everybody here has a job description. If not, you won't be sitting here. So part of that job description will be the time you will come to work, how long you will spend at work, what exactly you will be doing. So this of for it, everybody has his or her own God-given ability, which can also be brushed up. I know that you're not the singer you were 20 years ago because you have put effort. So your level of proficiency, which without wanting to rub your back, a master coach has been because you have committed time to yourself. So with that kind of work, it would be more of the attitude with which you approach it. If the manager or the supervisor sees that this person cannot sing as much as the other lady, but there's so much effort, you call for rehearsals to train them, and she's the first person to get there. She's the last person to leave, just like you saw the picture of Cristiano Ronaldo just now. The man, over how many years, has gone to training first and has left last and has practiced free kicks with drums and sticks and all that. And that's why he is practically, if not the best player in the world, one of. So we're going to say this person can sing better than that person. But what exactly is your job description? We're going to pull quantity and quality from there in terms of the time. Are you always late? Are you always on time? If I give you a job, do you do it to the extent to which you are able? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 is not based on the one that can sing more than the other one. It is the attitude with which you carry your work and how well you can produce and how well you can be proficient based on what you are asked to do. If that makes sense to you.
Is that qualitative? Is that quantitative?
Anything you can assign number to, all right, and arrive at a score, not just a score, because for instance, like we used teamwork the other time, it's subjective. But the moment I'm able to say that your teamwork means submit 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 things over a period of time, and we go back to check how many of those things did you submit as at when due over a period of time. So if it is 10 times, all right, we'll check, is it 5 over 10, 8 over 10 times? So the moment you are able to give us some data, all right, it said evidence can be stored argument. So once you have shown the data, and without you, I can rate myself. That's what the difference between quantitative and qualitative. Excellence, rating on excellence. I can't rate myself on excellence. You have to be the one to rate me on excellence. Except again, we now go to specifically mention what we mean by excellence. And we can see what we're submitting based on our measure of excellence. She can rate, he can rate me, anybody can rate me. It won't just be myself that can rate me. Why? Because all of them will have the evidence, the data to show how well I have been able to perform excellently based on your definition. So don't worry. One thing is we would, I've mentioned it around the last time, we're going to have focus group sessions with different departments, and we will sit down and we'll look at, tell us, in fact, sometimes we'll just say that, give us your top 10 priorities. Your top 10 priorities will be the basis for us to craft measurable performance, measures as well. Measurable performance measures. But you get what I'm saying, guys? All right. Please put your hands together for okay, so we're going to be here. And by the way, I love the 2 departments that I've asked because they are actually a bit not straightforward departments. Hospital, then instrumentalist, So who else is going to be? And again, it doesn't have to be questioning, it just be your comments. I have the training bit for you. If I'm going to get that from everybody this morning. But again, I need security. Come on, how do you see this? All right, how does it apply to you? And interestingly, I was setting targets for that. I could quickly pick incident reports because I was coming up some samples for security department or security department, and I know that incidents, reports is one of the, KPI exercise for the department as well. Of performance or pitfalls of performance management system. Please help me appreciate him once again. All right, so what I want to, any other comments before? Yes, sorry, let me take him. I love one of our newcomers. You are not newcomer. You've been coming. Oh, what's the name again? Peter. You walk on water. All right, walk on water for us now.
Okay. Is it possible we have the slides download in the format we can download over time? Not just this one, the ones you've been having.
Where's Lawa? Lawa? He stepped out. Okay. Okay, so it's actually available. All right. It's going to be available. And that is why all of us, again, you must get on your Office 365 because there's always a link that you can follow to be able to access even the previous ones, beyond the slides, even the recording. Is that correct? Technical, even the recordings are available for download, okay? So what we will do is I probably would, I will tell maybe HR to send the link to you so that you can access them for future
references and all of that. Okay. Yes.
I know we talked about this behind the scene before. Much of this will revolve around levels of authority. It would be good to have that clearly defined before we can even start this process. I speak with some people in the system and they say, I don't even know who is my Oga. So I guess we need
Yes, I agree with you. And ultimately, this process will be automated. And in the automation, the flow would be seamless. We will have defined it such that if you are the one that's supposed to appraise me first, it will come to you. And by the time you are done appraising me, if she's the next person to make comment on my appraiser, it will flow to that person. Okay, so we will take note of that. And HR, let's take note. We may need to actually map everybody. Ideally, truly in an organization, you can, when you draw the organogram of the organization, you're supposed to be able to have people's name. Everybody. It can be so big, but your name must be on the organogram. And organogram is like the diagram, diagram of the hierarchy and levels of authorities and positions in the organization. So when you see it, you will know when you stand in that ladder of in the organization. Yes, I love it when your name, your department, how long you have been with us.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Kenny David. David, yeah. I'm in the music department. I've been with Fountain for like 3 years now. Okay, so in any organization, I know that sometimes the authenticity of the job delivery is dependent on kind of like a team. So I can understand how a team of people, maybe 4 or 5 people, can undermine the professionalism of one person or 2 people, in that team. You might not get the best out of, since it's not an individual input now, it is a collective input, so how does the organization know the individual strength, contribution of everybody, because sometimes the failure can be blamed on the entire team, putting everybody in the same bracket. Yeah, so that's what I felt.
Thank you. Very, very good question. We are expected to work in teams, and there would also be an aspect of the appraiser that connects all of us together, such that whatever we score as a team will affect your own personal score at the end of the day. Why is that so? Organizations always want people not to work in silos, not to work independently. They should be able to work interdependently. All right. And in setting the performance appraiser, the ones that should be within your own control will be set for you. And the ones that requires everybody's contribution would also be set. At the end of the day, when we look at the weight for your own personal contribution will be higher than the weight for the one that joins you together with your team. So definitely there will be aspect that, so the way organization will know is that through your supervisor, one, and through the evidences of what you have done. So there must be evidence of what you have done. And that's why I know that most organizations where they are really big on performance, you see people always wanting to document everything. I've spoken to you on the phone, I go back on the email and document it. All right. Not only document it, that's when people, indulge in this approach of saying, this is the first reminder, second reminder, subtle reminder, aggressive reminder. It is sometimes to be able to prove that, see, I've been doing my bit and he has been sitting down on my work since. Therefore, because you can't rule out interdependencies until your output is input for what I'm going to also produce as output. So I get you, performance management, a very credible one, will already take a good care of that scenario, whereby you are not suffering because of the inefficiencies of the entire team. And we are also not making you to feel that you can run without the support or without collaborating with members of your team. That's the balance that we try to strike. Does that make sense? All right, thank you. So now, by the way, we have already overshot our time, but guess what? This is actually the most important aspect of this training, because this conversation is the process of buying for everybody. All right, it shouldn't reside on the head of one or two persons. Everybody must be clear as to where we are going with this performance management culture. So on that basis, please, I sincerely crave your indulgence for us to just at least maybe take one more comment before we call it a day. All right.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Shegun. Like the other time, PD was saying something about performance. Like he used NC Ronaldo as an example. He gets to training earlier, then he's the last person to leave. He does some other things. So this is my question now. Are we not saying if you are not productive in what you are doing? Yes, I think I can use that. If you are not productive in what you are doing, but you are the first person to resume and you are the last person.
It doesn't mean that's the way we are going to make people. But PD, but I can assure you that it was just an example, and definitely there are other ways, brother.
Okay. Sorry, please, can we, sorry, my honorable colleagues, please. Look, you can be the first to come and the last to go, and you are giving nothing, you will get nothing. Of course, we'll take you. He arrives well in time. And once it's 5 o'clock, he has closed. He's still here, that's your own. But now, I've had the opportunity to consult and to train somewhere, and I got to the front of the staff, and I told them that if you arrive, what time am I supposed to start work? 8. If you arrive at 5 to 8, what time are you leaving? 4. And you leave at 4. You have not done anything special. You are paid to do that. But if you come earlier and you are helping to arrange chairs and tables, how you go at the supporting structure, you understand what I mean? Let me use everyday English for us. So your productivity level, and then the other things that you are doing to make sure that you produce to meet the goal of the organization will also be appraised. So you come early, but you're not doing anything, really. You're not being productive, then you have defeated the goal. You understand? Where they score you only for coming early, go and work there. You understand what I'm trying to say? So it's a multidimensional appraisal. It's not just one thing, it's everything. And then we add it together to see where you fall.
Awesome. Thank you very much. That's this to a close is quickly in your mind and think of one adjective to qualify the interaction we've had this morning. I'm starting with you.
Sir, come again, sir.
to your feedback on this morning's session.
Okay.
Just one word, just one word. Okay, not adjective, one word.
Oh, opening for me.
Okay, eye-opening, all right.
Educative.
Educative. Online, the community, any whether they have questions. Is there any question online? No question, then let them drop their own comments too. We are possible.
Excellence.
Excellent.
Informative.
Informative.
Progressive.
Progressive. I love that.
Explicit.
Explicit.
It's good.
Good.
Formative.
Informative.
Good. Good.
Good.
Excellent.
Excellent.
Awesome.
Awesome.
Educative.
Educative.
Incredible, sir.
Incredible. Incredible.
Good.
Good. Step in the right direction. Step in the right direction. All right. Yes. Excellent. Great. Good. Good. Teamwork. All right. So this is all right. Informative. Eye opener. Yes. We have opened your eyes this morning. Yes. What? Educative. Insightful. Splendid. Then what? What? Clarifying. All right. I love that. Interesting. What? Impressive. In the what? Insightful. He's pretending like he didn't hear us. Good. Yes, sir. Educative. Timely. I love that. Very good. Educative. Encouraging and excellent with a smile. I love that. Yes. Educative. Educative. Relevant. Progressive. Promising. Imparting. All right. Huh? Awesome. Wonder. Yes. Insightful. Okay. Super. Informative. Not thank God it's not Illuminati. Illuminating. Okay. Yeah. Impressive. Scary. You're scared. Come on. PD, please help me engage him after I said it's scary. Help me engage him because the objective is not to scare anybody. Yes. Huh? Insightful. Progressive. Good. Enlightening. Impactful. Good. Amazing. Awesome. Good. Good, good. The way to go. Fantastic. Illuminating. Palliative, okay? Exciting. Awesome. Good. Educative. New ideas. Transformative. Interesting. Informative. Fantastic. Fantastic. Interesting. Eye-opening. Openness. I love that. Shegun. Okay. Educative. All right. Necessary. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for yourself. And do we have comment online? No comments. What's happening online? Online is not online until we are able to get feedback from you. Please, can you drop comment in the chat room? One word to describe your experience of this morning's training, and we will look at it. Anybody has dropped anything? Comment. All right, so thank you so much, everyone. As you can see, we are on a journey. And the journey is the journey of transformation. And everyone is a key player. Your contribution is greatly needed. And I believe that at the end of the day, we will all look back and will be proud of what we would have achieved together as a team. So thank you so much. Next week, we will continue. And I believe that this is going to take like, Okay, well, next week, what I'm going to do, in addition to what I mentioned here, we're going to actually present to you the actual performance appraiser system. And we will now schedule one-on-one focus group sessions with different departments. We'll send out the schedule. A convenient time will be picked. We will make it hybrid also for those that may not be physically present. Albeit, I would prefer that we all